Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast, episode 110. This is Wednesday, July 18th, 2024. Where's Donnie? Where did he go? Where'd he go? Hang on. There he
I was about to
is.
say, he's such a slacker.
There he is. He said he was going to be late, and he was 3 minutes early, so me and Sarah were going to start. We've got to talk about him. Yeah, Donnie's nothing but trouble. I'll tell you what.
It's Thursday, July 18th, not Wednesday, July 18th. It's a good thing I came on.
Whatever.
Yes.
So
Yes,
let me
I'm like,
let's start off the
Yeah.
show like this. How does it feel now that you're a sex symbol and you have so many people that want you on TikTok and the interweb?
Nobody wants me. Nobody wants me.
Everybody wants some. I want some too. I'm in a Van Halen kick today because I was listening to that acoustic version that David Lee Roth put out of Mean Streets. Check it out, Don. It's really good.
Oh, cool. It's ironic because I saw something about Eddie Van Halen. He was talking about the way he plays his guitar.
Don, he's dead. How could he be doing an interweb thing?
He's even more amazing.
Yeah, will you say you're going to be late because you hit your head? Speaking of hitting your head, so I came home from the gym today, and I'm like, son of a pup, I can't get in my apartment.
I know. We were on the phone when you.
I'm like, my key's not working. Yeah, my key's not working. Yeah, you were with me. And security reasons, because I'm dumb, I never do the deadbolt when I leave the house. And so that was locked. And once I figured that out, I came in because they had to fix something in my apartment, but I didn't know nothing about it. So, yeah, I'm super secure here in Greenville. Not too smart. Not too smart. Well, listen, before we forget, because we have been getting forgetful on this part of it, all the statements and comments by Eddie Buffalo, Sassy Sarah, and Donny Lowe are solely for, what are they for? Entertainment purposes, Don. So you need to be extra entertaining today, Don.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Sassy Sarah.
don't
Sarah.
forget to like, subscribe, share, follow, do all the things on all the places. And bug Eddie on TikTok. It's very funny. I find it very funny.
It is.
We had some comments yesterday. I'll tell you guys offline because some of that stuff, Donnie, you do have some fans, my friend. Just so you do know.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
I think I have to leave now.
So I know today we told everybody we're talking about crypto and annuities. We're also going to throw a little bit in about CDs, but I want to get started on something because I think it's kind of important that me and Sarah were talking about before Donnie came. We are going to be firing Donnie. He's no longer going to be with us.
Whatever. Eddie's been saying that since we started. He's like, oh, Donnie. I think he's just jealous. And then now that Donnie's getting more attention.
Believe me, the attention I see, he can have it all. He can have it all. You guys, all you big shoots. Yes.
I'm fired. Okay, I'll see you.
To reach Donnie, it's 716-555-1212.
Time.
So Sarah, it was
12 o'clock noon. Temperature.
Right?
It's noon. Do you know where your children are, Don? So tell the folks and Donnie what we were talking about before we came on, because I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, so I read an article in 2020, because of everything that happened there, and then of course now where we are, the standard deduction was increased significantly. So there's a lot of party talks, and I'm not going to talk about which party because you can look that up.
Yeah.
About extending some of those standard deductions and expanding the child tax credit and just making it help more lower income middle class families, especially those with children. Well, the thing I didn't notice, and that hit me today, is the standard deductions have been increasing the past few years. And it has helped a lot of people either get a refund check, or they are not paying in as many taxes because the standard deductions are so high. So they're not itemizing everything because they're not surpassing that. Well, in 2025, it's set to expire the current standard deductions. So, of course, they're trying to make it permanent, um, which is something everybody needs to pay attention to, because if it's not, then what ends up happening is it's going to it's going to increase your taxable income. So let's say you make 150,000 and you're married and the standard deduction is 25,000. That means your taxable income is 125,000.
That's
So
crazy.
that gives you an idea, right? Well, if they reduce
Mhm.
it down from 25,000 to 10,000, then your taxable income is 140,000. So you definitely want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on that, or you're talking with a tax professional in 2025, just to kind of see where everything goes. They always make changes around October time, always, every single
Mhm.
year.
Every
Um,
time elections are coming up, no matter where they are.
Well, it doesn't even matter about the elections. They just wait to make changes to the tax code. So in December until mid January, you're not able to send the IRS anything because they are preparing for the next year, but they're also updating all the tax information. And for example, this year, there were still changes going on when we were able to file. So we always got the warnings of, hey, this is not solidified. You may have to amend the return if you took something that may end up going away in the next few weeks. And it's kind of like, it's tax season. What are you doing? Just wait. Like, this is every year. And it wasn't even just the IRS. So Texas has a franchise tax that businesses need to file.
Hmm.
And they made changes in January, gave you access to e-file everything, then took it away, then gave it back, then took it away, and then they finally gave it back again. And it was just, do you have to report? Do you not have to report? What do you need to report? And it was just so much confusion. And then things that were filed, my clients, I had a few clients that said, oh, well, you never filed. Yeah, we filed back in February when it was open the first time. Like, you need,
Hmm.
and I understand they're going through some things. Texas is easier to deal with than the IRS. So thankfully that was always cleared up pretty quickly. But
Texas
that's
got
just,
some more guns than the IRS does.
I'm just saying, well, and they're nicer. Maybe it's just the Texan
Yes,
Southern
sir. Yes,
charm.
ma'am.
Because there's been times where, oh my goodness, I didn't know about that, and they'll waive fees, or oh, we need to do this or that, and they walk you through the process. Like, dealing with Texas, I have dealt with maybe one rude person in the last few years, which is
And
great.
that was Eddie Buffalo.
Yes. I'm more talking about the Texas comptroller, but yes, I'll still say you're the rudest person I've ever dealt with.
Thank you.
But with the
I'm number
IRS,
one. I'm number one.
Finally.
is kind of like dealing with the DMV. You go to the DMV, 90% of the time they are not happy to be there. You get the same thing with the IRS agent.
So what you're talking about, I think that I believe, and you can confirm this for me, Sarah. It ties in with the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act (TCJA) that
Yes,
is going to sunset in 2025 unless Congress decides to extend it. And
correct.
it's ironic because former President Trump kind of talked a little bit about that, where and his the people that are supporting him, that they want to extend that. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen election wise, and if they will do that or not. But
Correct.
yeah,
That's exactly which one it was. And tax laws, it's one of those things I didn't think about. Tax laws, they always set it up and then it expires, and then they argue about it, and then they extend it, and then it expires or comes up for expiration again, and then they argue about it, and then they wait till the last minute, and it's like, just get rid of income tax. How about that? And then y'all don't have to deal with it. It's off your plate.
Now, let me ask you something, Sarah, because I like working with you because it seems like you do as much education as we do with our clients in that. Now, do you have like a governing body that makes you read certain things, or is all your research done on the fly, whatever's coming up in the news? Do you get bulletins from the state? Where are you getting all your new information? Is that on you, or is it supplied by somebody?
So CPAs are required to do the continuing education to keep their
Mhm.
licenses. And of course, I'm not a CPA. There are times where I do attend those classes, even though I won't get credit because I'm just curious about what's going on. Or I see something in the news, or I have a client who comes up with something, or me and my employees will have a discussion and they mention something, or it's just all over the place. And I think that's what kind of makes me a little bit different because you mentioned the teaching. I've always wanted to be a teacher. When I went to college, my plan was to get my doctorate in accounting and teach at a university. The school that I went to, though, and this is why I didn't go the CPA route. The school that I went to, I wasn't paying attention because I was working full time, going to school full time, and my daughter. I was a single mom of a toddler, so I didn't notice because they didn't have a doctorate accounting program. They had a business program. So they switched it from bachelor's in accounting to a bachelor's in business concentration in accounting, and I didn't realize till I finished all the schoolwork and got my diploma.
Very good. That's
So,
interesting.
yeah, very interesting. So there's extra classes that I had to take, and going to a university for my master's wasn't something I could afford at the time. And there is Dallas Community College has an excellent program where you can take those additional classes without having to go get your master's. The problem is I had to take all those classes in person, and it was always across town from where I worked. So getting off at 5 o'clock, dropping my daughter off to someone to watch while I was in school, and then getting to school before the class started at 6 was never going to happen. And so I was never able to finish that portion. And then now it's just kind of like, I really don't want to go back to school. So, yeah.
So you
I
couldn't
get it.
just zoom right over there from your
No,
office.
I couldn't. I wish I wanted them to have it at other universities. And then in 2020, because everything was shut down, Texas changed the requirements where you can do it online, but it actually has to be from either a university or the
Accredited
Dallas
university.
College
Yeah.
curriculum. It has to be approved by the state. So I was like, oh, well, if you had done that 15 years ago, I could have finished my freaking classes that I needed, worked under a licensed CPA for 2 years, and then got my CPA license because lots of job opportunities lost because I didn't have those titles was a real bummer.
Well, it's actually, you mentioned something which is a good point when you were talking about for the CPAs they need the CE credit, continuing education credits, and that's something that Ed and I, in our profession,
Constantly.
we have to do that, and it's kind of more burdensome when you have licenses in several states.
It does.
So
I don't know about you, Don, but it's funny because I mean, mine doesn't expire until my birthday in September. I've started getting stuff in February for the states that I have to renew. It's
oh
like
yeah,
now it's got to get their money. Got to get
Yeah.
their money.
Well, and
exactly.
it's funny because of how bad the requirements are for CPAs. People aren't going into the field anymore. And then you also, if you go into public accounting, it's rare you find a firm like mine where it's like, okay, just work 4 days out of the week. Friday can be a catch-up day, but it's not required. So you can also have a 3-day weekend as long as work's done on good. Usually it's you work 60 to 80 hour weeks, especially the newer you are. You don't have a life. And I mentioned some of the bigger firms the last few years have been caught having someone else take the test for them to make sure that their people passed. And I'm like, it's just, especially if you're having companies cheat for their CPAs. And the governing body has not caught it until now. I'm not sure what the governing body is for. The other issue you have is I've seen a lot of errors made by CPAs. I mean, the last few months, I probably have seen 5 articles of CPAs who are actually charged with fraud, not filing tax returns or getting the refunds from their clients and keeping it and blaming the IRS. And that's rule 101. We don't cash refunds, period, end of story. It always goes directly to the client. So I'm not even sure how that happened. But it's a lot of funny business that's going on. And you have to think, they have a governing body. They took an ethics class and they're violating everything.
Yeah.
I like really, and if you want someone who understands the law and how things need to be filed and everything else, I totally understand. Find someone who's worked in the industry, find someone who's knowledgeable, make sure that if you go to a firm, if the person you're talking to isn't knowledgeable, there's someone at the firm who is, and that should be sufficient.
Yeah.
But I've had some people say, well, I don't want to work with you because you're specifically not a CPA. They won't even work with my employees who are CPAs. And I'm like, that's fine. There's a firm for you. That's perfectly
That's
fine.
right. It's not a good fit then. That's all.
Exactly. I stopped getting offended a while ago.
Good.
Except by me.
That's true.
You're always going to offend me.
All right. Well, thank you, Sarah. That was really good stuff. We're going to move on to the rest of the show. And Don, it's amazing. We got positive stuff to say about everything today. It's just
I know.
we've never been able to say anything like that,
Well,
Because,
we're always positive, so.
So on Saturday, we do know that President Trump, there was attempted assassination on him. And everybody's wondering what it does, what's it going to do to the market or anything like that. Bitcoin has rallied to $64,389.49. Crypto, the wonder dog. Yes, Superman's dog is up to 66,000. But what really blew me away since the
How many Pop-Tarts did you have today?
None.
Oh, my goodness.
Since the assassination attempt, not only has all that happened, but his campaign has received, you ready for this? Over $3 million in Bitcoin and Dogecoin. I wonder where the Dogecoin's coming from.
Wow.
But yeah, so right now, Bitcoin seems to be rallying. So
Yeah, the market too is.
I still don't like it. I'm never gonna like it. But if that's something you want to do, now's the time to do it. It looks like.
Yeah, the market hit over 41,000. So
And
it's
now
crazy.
we're also going to dip our toes into a little pond we never really talk about is CDs. And me and you talked about CDs briefly. And
Yeah, but I've kind of switching to vinyl instead of CDs.
that's too easy, Don. That's like some joke I would make. So no, not good.
That's
Not
true.
good. Not good.
I couldn't resist.
So I was shopping the other day in one of those supermarkets that have banks in it, and I stopped in my tracks when I saw what I saw. When I saw what I saw, they are offering 7-month CDs at a guaranteed 5% interest. Not bad. So I did a little
That's
bit. I did a little bit of digging this morning, and there's better ones. There's worse ones. We're looking at average. If you're going to put it in for a year, you're going to get 9 to 13, but that's not guaranteed. I kind of like having the guaranteed money, just like everything else we talk about. And me and Sarah were talking a little bit about CDs, and I have not dealt with them a lot. So a group that I affiliated with, they buy a CD every year, and somebody forgot to do something with that CD. And I guess automatically the bank that they were working with took that money, because I didn't hear from anybody, and put it into a non-interest bearing CD.
what?
Yeah. So if you're not careful and know that important date, I mean, Sarah said the same thing. We were talking about that before we went on air. And like I said, I mean, me and you don't deal with this all the time, Don. I mean, it's like we're going to sell CDs.
Yeah.
But when I heard that, I was like, you gotta be kidding. It isn't like with an annuity, The only time you might run into something like that, Don, you didn't take your RMD for 10 years after you were 71 and a half. So we took 40% of your money. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I ran into a woman that did it. Well, I think it was like 12 or 15 years she didn't take RMDs. She was lucky enough to fall through the cracks. But I mean, the penalty on that could be 40%. But
That's
this, I
great.
mean, to go to a 0% non-interest bearing friggin' CD, that's just horrible, 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 horrible. You know?
No, that is. That
Yeah.
is. And that's what they do. It's a lot of time. I'm surprised that they switched it to a non-interest bearing, because if a client does have a certificate of deposit, a CD, and it expires, a lot of time, and if the bank doesn't hear from the client on what they want to do,
They keep rolling it over in the
they'll
same
just roll it
price.
over into the same
They
vehicle, but the
did
interest rate
not.
might change.
They
That
did not.
That's
When I heard that,
crazy.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I
Now,
would
don't
definitely pull my
what
money.
bank
If that was my bank, I would pull my money out as soon as that CD
too
expires
late.
again.
They already put it into the CD. They're screwed
Well,
for another
yeah,
year.
but you
well,
have to wait.
well,
You have
another
to wait.
year, but I would mark it on the calendar and make sure to
Oh,
move it later.
100%.
Because I was mentioning to Eddie, well, I worked for nonprofits, and that's what they did when they had extra money at the end of the year. They would put it in a CD, and this one, they always had one, at least one, come to
Hmm.
maturity every single year, and they
Yeah.
just kept track of it, and then they would reinvest it if they didn't need money.
Mm.
But it was something we included in the financial report. So every single financial report, they learned, look at, see when the maturity level is. You had like 4 or 5 people keep track of it to make sure that did
I
not
mean,
happen.
shame on you if you're the person that's in charge of that. You know what I mean? But you
Yeah,
don't really. It brings up a point, Don. Like we have a fiduciary responsibility to do what's right for our clients. What banks don't have that? It's
I
like
know.
screw you guys, you on your own. I
Yeah,
Crazy.
find that hard to believe. Yeah, that just sounds like bad business to me.
yeah. Unless the bank reached out, phone call, mail,
You don't
email,
know.
whatever, several times, and
Yeah,
the client just didn't respond. I
Well,
mean, you
and
don't
you
know
also
that.
you run into this issue of, as people leave and come, like somebody else replaces them, you always find things that fall through the cracks. Always. Most jobs that I started, I would find vehicles that was on their balance sheet 10 years prior. No one's keeping a 10-year-old car for a business.
Yeah,
And so we would always have to go and clean up the balance sheet, fix the assets, because somebody was doing a great job keeping up with it. They left, someone else came, and that person did not see it as a priority, so didn't add any new stuff, didn't delete any old stuff, and they leave and someone else come, and it's a cycle,
yeah.
regardless. Um, so
That's true. That's true.
no,
And I know, Ed, we talked a little bit about, just when you have a certificate of deposit, and it works great a lot of times for people,
sure.
and everybody's situation is unique.
Hmm.
But
mhm,
just remember, the interest that you earn on a CD, a certificate of deposit, you have to claim that interest on your tax return and pay taxes on that interest. And we were talking about this earlier, versus an annuity, the interest that you earn in a given year is tax deferred. So you
right.
don't have to pay on that until you start to receive, you pull out some of the money from the annuity. When
Well,
the
even you're looking at something else, Don. You don't hear about it that often anymore. But when I was a kid, I had like savings bonds from my christening. My kids had savings bonds, and right now, I mean, it makes no sense to do savings bonds. There's so many other things you can do that you'll get a bigger return on. In
Yeah,
fact, the research I was doing, another thing after the assassination attempt, annuities, the fixed annuities are up to market conditions, meaning they've all gone up. Everything's up across the board. So I was looking at the averages, and across the board on a fixed annuity, the guaranteed interest rates are 5% to 12.5%, with the average amongst everybody out there of 8.5% guaranteed, which is fantastic. That's
that's
phenomenal.
incredible. Yeah.
Hmm. And you got to wonder, where are we going? It just keeps on going up and up and up. And I know for the longest time in our industry, and I'm sure it's trickled down to you, Sarah, you know, crash is coming. It's coming. It's going to be bad. It's going to be worse than 2008, and it just seems like that line keeps on getting pushed ahead of us. I
I
hope it
know.
never happens.
So, I
Because
mean, they say that, but to me, I always go to why are they saying that? What is their purpose behind always saying the sky is falling?
I think like the naysayers come out because with the market, when you get so high, there's only one way to go, and that's down.
There will
So,
be a correction, you know.
oh, it's got to be eventually. But I mean,
Yeah,
as I said, since 2016, when I entered the industry, I've been hearing the same thing. It's going to be bad. Tell your people, protect your money, and everything's like that. And I think that was a good way for me to think to tell my clients because like I said, to me, Eddie Bednar's, Eddie Buffalo, the best thing to put your money into right now, if your health is good enough, is a big fat whole life policy that's paying around 6%. It's give or take, a little bit depending on the carrier. Or if you have the wherewithal, or maybe your health isn't that bad, put it into a nice fixed deferred annuity. So why am I saying those two things, Don? Here we go with the quizzes again. Hey, I'm Alex Trebek. This is annuities for 500, Donnie. What you got? Put in the question.
well, because annuities, it's a contract basically, so it's a guaranteed whatever
Mhm.
whichever annuity you get, and there, if the insurance company says we're going to give you 5% per year over the course of
Guaranteed.
7 years,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, it's guaranteed,
Right.
absolutely guaranteed, and it's backed by the insurance company, and they've got the reserves to back that up. So if the insurance company has to pay every single client every dollar on their annuity, there's enough funds that they have on reserve to do
Well,
that.
don't you remember we talked about that probably about a month ago? That dollar for dollar, they have to cover all those annuities.
Plus the life insurance death
Yeah,
benefit
we're not even
coverage.
talking about the life insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's all covered. Yeah,
because
exactly.
the way I look at it, I work hard for my money. You work hard for your money. Sarah works hard for her money. I am not going to roll my dice and hope to God that this is going to happen. I mean, I'm 56 years old. Maybe, the 20 or 30-year-old Eddie that was running around with his hair on fire said, oh, yeah, sounds good. Let's go, Don. Where do I sign? But I mean, I've had money. I've lost money. I've had money. I've lost money. And unfortunately, you hope that wisdom comes with age, and as long as it's okay to make a mistake, folks. I mean, if your gut's telling you to do one thing and you're not listening to the advice your advisor is giving you, that's on you. I've done
Mm-hmm.
it too. I mean, back in the day, if you came to me with a great idea looking for investors, I'd probably do it. But that being said, I was just very fortunate that I'm still here. you know
No,
and
exactly.
I've seen so many people. I mean, I think the thing that really blows my mind, like say somebody's 56 like me, you know, and they smoke, a little bit overweight, and they call Donnie LaFosse and say, "Hey, Donnie, I'm 56. Yeah, I smoke. I got a little bit of tummy on me. What kind of insurance can I get? Is it going to be expensive? Is it going to be cheap? What do you think?" And
Yeah,
what do you
well,
tell them, Don?
yeah, it's I mean, we have to kind of look it up, and yes, you can that based on those scenarios,
Guaranteed.
you'll get insurance.
Come
You
pay it
may have
through
to
the
pay a
nose, though.
little bit more
Hmm.
than if you lost a few pounds, you quit smoking. But here's the thing too. Say in that situation, all right, you know what, you're going to bite the bullet. You're paying a little bit more because of the health factors there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after a year, you can go back to the insurance company. So you decided to quit smoking, you started exercising, so you're controlling your weight, and you're overall you're much better health wise. you can have the insurance company do another evaluation with the underwriting team. And if you're, if they can bring you to a different classification where it reduces your premium that you're paying, the insurance company will do that. But then what's the question that we might get, Ed? Somebody's a little bit leery about that. Can you think of a question that we might get when we
Ooh,
explain
he
this?
turned the question asking on you.
No, I'm drawing a blank because I'm ready with my response to what you're saying
Okay.
right now.
So the question that we might get asked, which I have gotten asked, is, well, what if they decide that my health is worse, even though I feel better, but they find something and my health is worse? Are they going to increase my premium? And the answer to that is no. They will not increase your premium after you go back for a reevaluation, but they can decrease the premium for you.
See, I have a question for you, Don, and I want you to be honest about that. Okay, this is all fine and
I'm
dandy.
always honest. I tell you what I know.
Oh, I'm gonna say something to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we've both been in the business, me a little bit longer than you. Let me ask you this: you
hmm
ever done this? What you just explained to the folks?
I had one client that
How'd that work
actually
out?
it worked out better for them because he was a
Every.
vapor,
Mm.
and so vaping is considered nicotine. So he quit vaping. He went back in, and he got a better premium rate. So I had one client that it worked for.
Never. I've never gotten anybody with a
Really,
reduction. The only
really.
time I'll see a reduction, Don, is like somebody has a temporary upcharge, whether like say somebody had cancer, and it's not past that 10 year mark. They'll still give them the insurance, but it's going to be a hell of a premium, and you better have the wherewithal to do it.
Yeah, that's a great scenario to bring up because I had a
Not a
client.
great question, Don. I know you wanted to say that.
Well, it's a great
Everybody needs
scenario,
shots. Don almost said it. 2 shots for
but
not saying it.
but you didn't ask a question. You presented a scenario.
Right.
Ooh, snap.
Okay.
Oh, look whose hobby is being snobby. Little Donnie Low.
No, no, no. So I had a client that was he did have cancer. It was mild, and we did a term policy. I believe it was a 10-year term policy, but the insurance company put what they call a flat extra charge. So on whatever the rating was, they said we have to charge X amount of dollars
Now,
extra per
I got to
month.
ask you,
But they did it for
as an
1 year.
insurance benefit provider, as you are, 'cause I know you don't want to be called a salesman. You know,
No,
when you
no.
looked at your commission sheet and you saw how much premium the person and you saw what you're getting paid, were you like, what the? Because
I
insurance
think
people do not get paid on overages.
correct, correct. Yeah, I knew where
So,
you're going with that.
so in this case, we always say we're doing it to help our people. 100% on that one. A
Oh no, my
hundred
goodness.
percent.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
If
But
if I was in this, if we were in this just for the money, that you're in the wrong freaking profession.
oh,
You know.
yeah, definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Hmm.
But so that was one case that I had that the flat fee extra charge was placed on there for one
Insane.
year, right?
Hmm.
But what it did was, the client knew that he was paying X amount of dollars per month for the year. So when that expired, he was comfortable with that premium where it was. So what we did was we took part of that term policy, converted it to whole life, and in essence, the premium was still the same amount that he was paying in total.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this. I know it's our annuity day, but one thing that people should really know: say you are getting big whole life policy, because you want to get the dividends every year, and you're iffy. So are me and Don. We were always taught, and the way I do it, and I know Don does it the same way, is we give you the middle of the road rating. Well, if it
Mm-hmm.
comes back and your health is fantastic, and you get like an ultra supreme, ultra supreme. ultra premium rating, I mean, here's your choice. You could either pay the same amount of money and get more insurance, or get as much as you can. Because right up to delivery, you can change the amount of insurance you're getting. And I'll
Right.
tell you, if I got Ultra Premier, I would shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
Because who knows a year down the road if you're going to have the same if I want more. So if you can afford it and you're able to, get it. Because
Yeah.
it's, and it seems, it's funny. People talk about COVID. I mean, 2020, they put everybody through.
Mm-hmm.
21 and 22, it settled down a little bit. It got kind of tough to get people through underwriting. But I'd say in the past year, I've had 3 people that I've done a regular rating on, and they've come back as Ultra Premier. And I mean, we
Hmm.
look like superstars, even though we didn't do anything. It was all,
Yeah. Yeah.
because of them and the underwriting. But yeah, it's really interesting. Thank God, like I said, if your health is bad, get an annuity if you can afford it, and you don't
Well,
have
and
to.
so here's a question because
Mhm.
Donnie says that he's run across it where um, if they did work out or if they quit smoking, it came back better. Why doesn't it come back better? Because you stated that you haven't run across that. Is that more they think that the person's going to revert back?
That's the thing with underwriting, Sarah. We have no control over that, and there is
Hmm.
definitely a human element to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because you have somebody sitting at a desk looking at all this stuff. I mean, back in
Mm-hmm.
the day, the company I worked for, we were still writing paper apps. So, because of us working in New York, you had to submit paper apps instead of electronic apps. And I gotta be honest with you, gotta be honest with you. And I always thought this way. And I finally talked to somebody in underwriting. I'm like, listen, when you see a New York app and it's taking you hours to get through one, and you can get through 10 in an hour on an electric app, you really want to do a New York app?
Right.
Just being
Yeah.
honest, it's human nature.
Yeah.
We all want to do what's easier. And what's nice about being in the industry longer, a lot of the underwriting departments know how Donnie writes, know how I write. And it's a little bit easier because I'm big on my notes, my agent notes. I'm going to write a book about you to say
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
everything good about you that I can, so it moves through quicker. And I always thought the more I write, the less they're going to read. I hope it's not that way, but it sure seems that way sometimes. Yeah, write about Donnie Lowe, blah blah, father, blah blah blah, great guy, blah blah blah, goes to the Knights, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Plays pickleball, blah, 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 polishes his gold bars. Once they get to pickleball, they're like, yeah, he's
No.
good, good, he's good.
No pickleball. Not
I
yet.
was told that you tried out for the Olympic pickleball team. Is that true?
That is false.
Oh,
But
fake news
I
time.
I would love to try curling and then try out for the Olympic team for
Dude, dude,
curling.
dude, you got to have hair for curling. It ain't
Oh
happening with you.
man.
I'm so
Touche.
embarrassed of myself. I'm better than that. That was bad, Don. I apologize to you and the viewers. So, well, listen, we're coming up around Sarah's magic time, so
That's
we're going to
right.
finish up the show. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks for all the tax info, Sarah. I
Yeah, that
hope it
was
was
great.
helpful to everybody out there because I mean, a lot of times the reason I brought it up, if I didn't know about it, it means our viewers aren't going to know about it either.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, so if you like working with people just like you, we're the people to see. www.ebiagency.com. So you can reach us on our hotline, 716-306-2020. To get a hold of Sassy Sarah, you just go to the EBI agency site, hit our partners page, and poop. Where are you on the partners page, Sarah?
Number one.
You didn't.
Number one. Oh, I will show you. So I'm gonna have to now move my llama. So there's a shop in downtown McKinney that does ethically traded things, and I got a llama. It has real llama fur, and it's been dyed purple. So it is
Wow.
one of those, if you're having a rough day, come hug the llama because it's soft.
So they
I bought
died
some
and
for the
then
kids.
painted it purple?
No, so I got the kids each their own. Mine's purple because I love purple, but I have to keep it on the bookcase or the cat will eat it.
Well, make sure the cat doesn't eat the buffalo. That's all I care about.
That's right.
So, all right, we're gonna wrap this up. Your buddy Eddie Buffalo. That's Sassy Sarah and Donnie Lowe. Um, unless we have to have an emergency podcast or a special thing, we're gonna see everybody on Tuesday for our tax questions with Sarah. Wednesday, our normal insurance day, and then Thursday again, our crypto and annuity day. And we tried something new this week. We did Billy Sheen's latest episode with us because Mr. Big had the new album come out this week, 10. And you ready for this, guys? Between the viewership of the original broadcast and the one on Monday, Billy's over 23 million viewers for that video.
Awesome.
So
That's
let us
fantastic.
know if you have a favorite that you want us to play on Monday. We'd be happy to do that for you. So once again, everybody have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. Take care. Ciao. Where's your ciao, Don?
Bye.
Ciao.
Oh,
Ciao.